So good afternoon and thank you for coming. This is my first talk with HELP, and I'm really grateful to HELP for inviting me. So just let me give you a brief introduction about myself. I am Dr. Sanjot Pethe. The doctor is from a PhD. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD in organizational behavior, and I have worked in corporates for up to 2015. That is when I quit and I went into something called as life coaching. And as I was experiencing or I was learning in the life coaching and interacting with a lot of people, body was one aspect which I realized that I had also ignored for quite some time, and a lot of people really don't connect to what its wisdom is. And that is when I went into a training for something called as somatic experiencing. There is this person by the name of Peter Levin in US who propagates that. So I completed 1 year of that training. I'm continuing that training. I'm still under the training. But that really evoked a lot of interest in what body means. It has helped me immensely. During training, I started working with other people, of course free of charge, but as patients and I began to realize that it is a very, very powerful modality, and then help came along to give me a chance to speak about it to the world. So that is what is this talk about. In fact, very interestingly, I was listening to this conversation between Sadhguru and Karan Johar a few weeks back. It's available on YouTube, where he says that a lot of our issues are because we are not tapping into this machine, this complex, highly sophisticated machine that we have all been given, and we are really not being able to connect to it. And that is where he says that you need to really connect to our physical body, being able to study and experience our physical body. And that really sounded a lot like what I'm here to do today. So though I'm writing in the intentions, getting in touch with body wisdom, understanding health and body, but essentially it is to remind that this is a mechanism that is available with all of us. Some of us do use it in different degrees. I don't think any of us are at zero, and many of us can go a lot more and can do a lot of aspects to it. So yes, today's intention is we will talk about what the body can do. We will also do some very small exercises, and we will explore what this topic, what somatic experiencing and certain other modalities are all about. So any thoughts on what do you think this would be? What would be body wisdom?
To build up an awareness about the feelings in body
Yeah.
and the changes in body.
Yes, pretty much build up an awareness.
That re-introspect into your thinking.
Yes.
And all.
Yeah. Any others?
See, this is a machine,
Yeah.
like anything, made up of so many parts. Each part has a role.
Yeah.
And each role is complemented to some other role also.
Yes.
To understand each part, its role, and its interrelationship with other parts and their roles.
Yes. Pretty much that. Yeah, you were saying something.
It's a self-healing kind of and very intelligent machine.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a very intelligent machine.
Body has the capacity to heal. Many times our mind or we come in between that.
Yes.
Not allow the system to take to heal, or all universe, all forces are there to heal us.
Yeah, that is actually true. So yeah, pretty much that is what we are going to talk about. So before we go there, so when we say heal, what do we really mean by health? What is health?
As we said, all the organs should be synchronous.
Synchronous.
And in the rhythm.
Yeah.
Body, mind, spirit.
Yeah. So a lot of if you whether you look at science or whether you go back and look at our scriptures or anywhere, you will find these two distinctions, right? You will find that there is energy and there is matter. You will find that there is consciousness and there is body. So what is that? So if you look at consciousness or if you look at energy, on its own it cannot experience life. You know, they, in Indian, in some of the Hindu scriptures, it also mentions that if God also needs to change the world, she needs to come in a human form.
Yes.
Only then the world can be changed. So the consciousness cannot work without the body. Body without the consciousness is dead. Okay, so when I die, it means that the consciousness has left this body. When these two are in absolute balance is when perfect health happens. So which of course means that there will be times when it will not be in absolute balance, and there will be times when something will go wrong, something can get locked up. That is the time when we have disease. That is the time when we are not. So when life force or the consciousness which is a part of our body and the body are in complete alignment. Now this life force is constantly in a flow. It is flowing. If you see our heart beats, our breathing is goes up and down. You know, we inhale, then we exhale. Even our neurological system also goes up and down, up and down. That rhythm is because the life force is continuously flowing. And there are times when this life force gets stuck in different places. So health is when mind and body are in alignment, when, as you rightly said, all the systems in the body are in complete alignment, and life force is free flowing. So one of the very distinct ways or very simple ways of finding out how healthy are you is putting both your feet on the ground. And if both the feet you are able to keep straight on the ground without applying any pressure, then that it is healthy. But there are people, lots of them, and for quite a few years, even me, I would put one foot of mine with more pressure than the other, which means that it is not in alignment. If it would be in alignment, then both your feet need to be even balanced on the ground. If you can do that, then you are in perfect health. Of course, there are other symptoms, like for example, if you lie down and put both your arms straight, if you turn your arm one side, the other arm will automatically turn to the other side. There is a synchronization. That will happen again if you are in good health. Otherwise, there is something wrong here. Something that is not happening. Similarly, your pelvic region can move without you lifting your leg. Your legs will simply turn. So this happens if you have a healthy body. Right? So let's talk a little bit more about the body. So what is the core requirement or core purpose of our body? Survival. Yeah, the body will, because consciousness cannot create, consciousness cannot reproduce, consciousness cannot experience unless there is a body. The consciousness will want the body to survive for as long as possible. All of us would like to, if conditions are conducive, to live as long as possible and as healthy as possible, of course.
It is said that the cells in the body, the body consists of cells, cell.
Yes.
And the cell has got the consciousness.
Yes.
And we say that body don't have a consciousness.
Did I say that? No.
No. Every cell got the
consciousness. Yes.
And how this body, mind and soul, or life force, what we say.
Yes.
They are connected with each other.
Yes.
Body, mind and
soul. So, yes.
So there is a consciousness in body.
In every cell, and we will talk about when the consciousness goes out of that cell. It does. There are times, there are moments when some cells lose the consciousness and your life force gets frozen there. So, yeah, right. In fact, that is what I was about to say, that nervous system is what connects all the systems together, and nervous system is the main communication between all the systems, yeah, all over. Now, what happens is that the nervous system is designed, or all systems for that matter, are designed to make the body survive, which means every signal that they are picking up, they are checking whether this is pleasant or unpleasant, and therefore is this something which will help me survive, or is this a threat?
The healthy coordination.
Basically, yes. And the nervous system will send signals if there is a danger. If suddenly we hear a loud voice, all of us will suddenly become straight and say, okay, what happened? Yeah, because the whole system will act on it, react to it. The whole system will become ready. Now, sometimes the whole system becomes ready and is not able to go back.
State of shock.
Yeah. Or the system completely collapses and is not able to get up. Those are the places where consciousness can leave cells, and those are the places where your life force can become frozen. But I think I am getting a little ahead of myself. I would like to go a little slow. Even our emotional system, which is in the brain, is also connected to the body, and it also works with the body. And what happens is, the human beings particularly have something called as a neocortex, which is the reason for our progress. We've gone ahead so much because of that, but it also sometimes helps in the freezing for a longer period of time, because we worry, we remember what happened, we worry a lot, we fear, and that fear remains locked up. Compared to animals, animal generates a fear when it's being attacked and it's running, and then it gives up on the fear. We carry it.
We anticipated.
We anticipate it, we carry it because of our neocortex, which also helps us prepare. It also helps us prepare, but sometimes it becomes over. It becomes over preparation. Then the body, every cell, as you said, would have imprints of the experiences that are happening. Even right now, as I am speaking, somewhere in your body something is getting registered or stored. Okay, so what the whole philosophy that Peter Levin talked about, or other people have talked about, is that the very shape of our body gets done or drawn by our experiences, or how much you store those experiences, how much those experiences are locked up. That is why some people will always appear angry. If you ask them, why are you angry, they will say, no, I am not angry. But they will always appear angry. Some people will always appear sad even when they are not sad, because those experiences have got stuck in their body. So the body language becomes that of a fearful or an angry person, without the person actually experiencing anger now. That makes sense, right? So, yeah. And those very imprints, especially the negative experiences. So we are having both experiences. We are having positive experiences as well as negative experiences. That is the reason why negative experiences, so what happens with negative experiences is they also become reminders of what happened earlier. So you met a particular person who behaves or acts in a particular way. The next time you meet somebody like him, your reaction is the same without having any experience towards that person. Yeah, that is because the memory gets triggered. Now this all is the basic of how the body works, and these imprints start as early as second trimester in the mother's womb. So it's a very, very long period in which these imprints have been imparted. So when we tap into the body wisdom, what we are essentially saying is, how do we look at these experiences? How do we look at our own body? And how do we move from where we are to a more centered, more positive spaces? So I actually spoke about that body experiences are what are coming to us through sense organ as well as through memory. Because the memory interferes, and there are two types of body remembers, but you may not remember.
Correct.
Especially very childhood traumatic event situations, you are not going to remember. What will happen is the body will remember, and the body will store. And they will generate what we call as sensations, feelings, and sometimes even your gut reactions or your intuitions. So just a little bit on the gut. So there is this study which has been proved is that there are less number of neural pathways going from the head to the gut, and 9 times more pathways going from gut to the brain, which means the gut has more to tell the brain than the brain has to tell the gut. But what happens is, because we have so much emphasis on thinking, on thought, on rationality, that we are not listening to what the gut is saying. We are more listening to what the thoughts are saying, and that is why there happens a imbalance. Okay. But that also the body generates. So let me take a little negative example. Let's say we are walking somewhere. I am walking somewhere, and I go and I hit against a wall. Okay. There is a wall. I have known the wall. It's a known place. I go there and I hit against a wall. What are the kind of sensations that I will feel?
Pressure,
There will be pressure.
damage,
There will be pain.
Pain.
There will be a lot of pain. So there will be pressure, there will be pain. What kind of feelings can get generated?
Why did I?
Yes, the feeling of disgust and anger. Yeah, that why can't I see? Or am I stupid, as you rightly said? Yeah. And there would be fear. I don't know what must have happened. It's paining right now very badly. I don't know what must have happened. There could also be anger.
yeah,
Especially if at that time I am talking to somebody and my anger will be for that person. Why was he talking to me? I couldn't pay attention. Yeah.
Talking on phone and
Suddenly he thinks. So again the feelings of it. So a lot of sensations and feelings will get generated. If at that moment I am able to deal with those feelings and sensation and assure my body that all is well, then there is no problem. But most of the time I don't do that. I stop for 2 minutes. If the pain stops, I forget about it. And I go on doing my stuff. What I have done is I have not really informed the body that the danger is over. So one small, and this is such a small thing that I am talking about, it will not have much of an impact. But now extrapolate it to bigger negative events in your life, and you will realize that a lot of places, a lot of our energy gets locked up. So our life experiences also teach us how to deal with, or how our body deals with threat, right? So I hit against a wall, I will move away from the wall. I hit against a person, I will shout at that person. So I am either doing a fight response or I am doing a flight response. What happens when I am not doing either, or I am not able to do either, is when I freeze. And I freeze and that space remains frozen. Yeah, those cells remain frozen. The rest of me may move on, but that particular area in my body, a specific portion in my body will remain frozen. It will not move. And that is what will cause whatever distress that has to come later. So essentially we have to tell the body that it has not survived. Now I brought these pictures to show you that in a in a situation in a forest, these are some of the fight responses that are there under stress, under threat. Of course, you will say leopard, what is the threat? For the leopard, the threat is hunger. It's hungry, maybe he also has cubs and they also may be hungry. So, for that leopard, it's a fight response because the victim is not just standing there, he's running. So, it's a fight response. But for the deer, it's a flight response.
It knows the odds.
He knows the odds, so it runs. In fact, you will be amazed to know 9 out of 10 times the leopard does not win. He wins only once. So there are days when the leopard doesn't have any food because the food is able to run away. Flight response. Fight responses can sometimes even happen with buffaloes if they are attacked by lions. Sometimes the buffalo turns back and attacks. So that's a fight response. What about human beings? So of course, a couple of examples I have shown here. It's a fight response, very clear fight response where a man and a woman are in an argument. Okay. The possibility of a freeze happening there is very less. Whereas there are freeze responses that can happen. So it's fight response when an elder person is scolding a younger one, and for the younger one, if he can run away from there, it's a flight response.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it. If he can fight back,
Not possible.
not possible, but if it becomes possible, then it's a fight response. But if neither is possible, then it becomes a freeze response. Now if it happens one day, no problem. If it is happening every day, every other day, it's a problem. Because then this person is constantly being frozen in a situation that he cannot escape.
Isn't it? And they become immune to it also.
Immune is, if they are able to really become immune, great. Which means the flight response is succeeded. At least if not physically, mentally they are able to run away. But if they have not become immune, and if it has got frozen in the body,
then pain and other
things will come up later. They won't come immediately. They will come later. They will stay frozen. It will change the way the person is outside, and they will come later. So I just listed, but I think we are talking about that some of the major events that can impact are the natural calamities and major accidents and plane crashes and stuff like that. Of course, major illnesses, death of a loved one, major illnesses such as cancer, and they can also cause a lot of freeze response. You don't know what to do. And constant physical abuse, emotional abuse, even dog bites, these can also cause a lot of trauma. Why did I bring in trauma when we are discussing about body wisdom? Is I think that is where the body wisdom is most needed. Yeah. Of course, body wisdom is also needed in our day-to-day life, but that is the place where body wisdom is most needed. So as you also mentioned about the shame bit, the problem with the freeze response is that it leaves you with unbearable frustration. It leaves you with shame. It leaves you with lot of helplessness, and there is a corrosive self-hatred. When you say I am stupid, I don't know anything, there is a lot of self-hatred that happens. So the whole concept behind how do I deal with or how do I tap into my body wisdom is being able to, one, clean out all the freeze responses that we have had, and also during a massive trauma, how do I maintain myself? Can I tap into my body at that time? Very difficult, but can I do it? Yeah. Yes, very interesting also. Can we do it at that time? Okay. So all these freeze responses lead to some of these diseases, your gastrointestinal problems, migraines. Using this.
IBS is also one of them.
Yes. I have dealt with my acidity using this modality, but other intestinal problems, some forms of asthma, persistent pain, always feeling tired, exhausted, are also a result of freeze responses, staying too long. So then, how do we need to be when we are in our bodies? Okay, and one of the things that has worked for me is being able to constantly, or at least in pain or when I'm troubled by some thoughts or decision making and stuff like that, can I also observe what is happening in my body?
Oh yes.
Can I observe what's happening to my feet, what is happening to my chest, what is happening to my throat? It will give you indications of some kind, and if you engage in it over a period of time, people also report seeing images, remembering something from which this is tied out, and being able to release that memory out from your body and get back the consciousness that has left that cell. So, can I continue to connect? Can I start connecting to my body? And I have also heard in many places when people turn around and says, what does that mean? Because we are really never trained to look into what is happening to our body. Constantly we don't check.
Experience and knowledge, I think, basically is required.
Yes, we have to practice. Essentially, it's like any other relationship. If I have to build a relationship with you, I have to connect to you, talk to you, exchange certain thoughts with you, only then a relationship will build. Otherwise, it will just be a transaction and it will be over. It's the same with your body. If you are paying attention, because it speaks very slowly, and then when it needs to scream, it screams in form of diseases. So either it will speak very, very slowly. Yeah. And so peace is what Sadhguru also says is peace is fundamental. It's not a goal. It's fundamental. So being able to stay calm and being able to hear the body, it is fundamental. It's very, very important for us to do. And very useful for mental illness, psychosomatic illness, or post-trauma, PTSD, post-traumatic disorders. Also, stress disorders also, we can use this extensively. So there is this model which I put together based on all these. There are 3 things that are required for you to be able to really tap into the wisdom of your body. One is what is called as kindness, and of course kindness for 2 reasons. If you are doing it with yourself, then being kind to yourself. So if you are feeling angry, instead of saying, I shouldn't feel angry, this is not good, can you experience that anger and then decide what you want to do with it? Can you really look at what is it doing to your body? What is happening to your body? So kindness for yourself. Now what happens is people who go through extreme trauma or stress, kindness for themselves is not all that possible, because the emotions, the fear or the anger or whatever is so high, so overwhelming, that they themselves may not be able to deal with it. So if there is another person who can hold them kindly and allow them to experience, then it works wonders. So if somebody falls down, sometimes my reaction would be careful. But that's a very unkind response. If the person could be careful, he would have been careful. Okay? So kind response
And
would be...
usually we respond in that way.
Usually, because that's inside my system.
We always put the burden to the other side.
We always put the burden to the other side. So somebody saying that, okay, what happened? Did you get hurt? Will have a far positive effect than saying, be careful. Shouting at that person.
In fact, it boosts up the energy of
the person. Okay. At the same time, don't be too hard on yourself. That it's a natural reaction for us. Sure, maybe it's slowly. But naturally, we also need to develop that within us. Because kindness is what will help the other person far more than uh, the natural reaction, and kindness towards ourselves also. That's very extremely important. Second is what we call as resources. Now, we have a lot of resources. For example, what is the effect when you look at the blue sky?
Very calming.
Very calming, right? Or sometimes some people find calmness in the blue sky, some people also find calmness when it's raining.
Yes.
Some people find calmness in flowers, some people also like cactus. Whatever it is that can give you a slight positive feeling. Because the underlying motto is, tell the body you're not in danger of dying. So you have to look at what is paining, what is the problem. So if you have a pain in your leg, look at the leg, we experience the pain along with the leg, then look at a resource which is outside. Outside resources can also be gods, goddesses, some religious texts, some spiritual mantra that you like. Those are all external resources. Then there are internal resources. Our body also, even in your, if you ever have a pain, and if you can really in that pain are able to look at the whole body instead of only that part, you will realize there are parts in your body which are not in pain or which are pleasant. If you are able to move between these two, the pleasant part in your body and the paining part, you will see, I have seen people's pain going down. Unless of course a bone is broken, then I am not talking about that. But if it's a persistent pain, which is more psychosomatic than physical, it will go down. Headaches go down that way. A lot of this can happen if you are able to move between these two. Of course, if it's again very overwhelming, it's a good idea to have another trained person to do it with you. And the third is what we call as movements. So movements are some pretty simplistic movements. So what happens when you are under a lot of tension? We either sit down and put our head down, or we will do fast pacing walk. Both of them are still activating the fight or the flight systems. Putting your head down is telling it's gone. Run as fast as you can, whatever, and walking fast is saying that I'm about to attack. So the whole body is actually geared up. A good thing is walk with absolute slowness and try to experience what is happening in your body. Sometimes you will get answers to the problems that you are trying to solve. And it suddenly comes up, and it will come in a very slow voice. It will come as a very slow indication. But you will also get answers or solutions to what is happening. Another thing that I have seen working is what we call as the push away. So say I had a fight with somebody and that person said a lot of bad things to me. And I somehow want to deal with that. I'm feeling very angry, hurt, humiliated, all that. Okay. And the thoughts are again going on in my mind. Good idea is, imagine that the person is there in front of me. And without any anger, because if the anger comes in, I'm again activated for the fight. Without this, I just push that away 3 or 4 times. 2 things happen. When I start doing that, my body has completed the fight because it has pushed away. So the completion has happened. So I'll cool down. Once I cool down, I might be able to see the other person's perspective, or I might be able to see how do I respond without getting angry. It looks very simple. These exercises look extremely simple. They are not. They actually have very good effect. I have seen that effect in even situations like I saw an accident with a lot of blood and all that, and I was feeling very disgusted with it, and I just did this, and actually the body reaction went away. Then I could be empathetic to the person after that. I couldn't be empathetic before. Before I was more worried about what's happening to me. So I could, so it could be, that could be done. So there are many movements, okay, which are, which help in this. So even things like, trying to do the action of running when you wanted to run away from some place but you were not able to. Or being able to push hard, not this way but just push, can also help in dealing with these kind of situations.
All those Qigong exercises.
Yeah, those are also, yoga is there, but yoga is, of course, has certain rules to it. Yoga can also be there. I think that talk also happened recently.
Yes.
Yeah. Tai Chi is also there. Yoga, of course, is there. Those kind of exercises also help you. In fact, with yoga, I have also observed that if you are more in tune with the body, if you are paying attention to what are the sensations and feeling in the body, then even the yoga that you are doing also improves. So you can actually, engage your body more and more. How much do you really engage your body in your day-to-day activities? So for mindfulness also, body happens to be very powerful if you are able to do. Not like an exercise, but if you are able to just move your joints, all your joints one after another without, if you do it right now also, you will feel some amount of your, laziness or some amount of lethargy or something, tension or something, it will go away. And not doing it like an exercise. We are not exercising our joints. We are not working with our muscles. We are just telling our body that all is well. It's actually telling the body it's all well. Yeah. So, and of course, if you are the one who are taking care of other people, then making sure that you are taking care of yourself. And if your body is saying no, then it's a no. Right? So because our culture, somehow culturally we are tuned to be very collaborative, very sacrificing, very giving, all good things. I'm not against them. But when they become too much, as I said before, if the body is not cared for, so body either speaks very slowly and says I don't want to do this or I do this, or it screams. And usually its screams are the diseases that you experience. That is the body screaming. So why wait for body to scream?
Because the tolerance level is so low at that moment.
Huh?
The tolerance level is so low at the moment that you scream.
Yes.
You really find that's the fastest way of
getting the attention. And that's the way the body gets attention. So if you have to tap into your body wisdom, you have to really look at what is happening to your body at different points in time. Are we sitting as per our convenience? Or how free are we sitting? Are we able to move our legs? That gives a sense of freedom. If you sit with absolute tightness, after some time you will start facing issues. So the kindness, resources and movements together is what creates this intelligence, what gives you this intelligence and allows you to resolve a lot of your difficult memories. So as I said, first is the present moment, that we connect to the body sensations and we connect to the feelings. Now this does not mean that you don't connect to the positive feelings. For example, one of the practices that I have also taken over is when I get up in the morning and if I am watering my plants, I try to get that sense of joy, and that can keep me going for the whole day. A lot of issues can
the earthy feeling that you get.
And the earthy feeling that you get, the smell, the early morning quietness that you get. Similarly, you could have something that makes you feel good. It could be a cup of tea, it could be talking to somebody, it could be a prayer, it could be reading something, listening to some music. I think that changes from person to person. Even while eating, one of the things that I did for dealing with acidity was that while eating I used to actually check how my body is sensing as I am eating. What is it sensing? And where the body said stop, it was stop. So initially I wasted some food. Later on I knew that when will the body say stop, so I stopped wasting also. So initially maybe for a week or so I must have wasted some food because of that.
Sister, what is the indication of hot and cold to the body? It denotes what? Body, if it is a hot body.
No, hot sensation. So if you do a check over your body, there will be parts in your body where you might feel the temperature is higher.
What way it affects the organs or anything?
No, it does not. If you are able to sense that, okay, so if you are able to sense, then maybe at some point, say for example, if there is a part in your body that you are constantly feeling is cold and you constantly pay attention to it, after some time you will start seeing images. Those images will tell you what is it that is stuck in your memory, or it could be with hot. So whether it is hot or cold, or for example if you are feeling pain somewhere and you are feeling a lot of heat in that pain, next time you feel pain somewhere else, again you see hot. So that is some characteristic of telling you that something is going wrong here. But that will happen. So there is no general rule that if your body is hot, it means this. For you it might mean something completely different. For me, it might mean completely different. For me, a hot may be a pleasant feeling. For you, cold may be a pleasant feeling. But what is the feeling? Whether it is free or constricted. Whether you are feeling so...
You feel tightness.
Yeah. Do you feel like this? Or do you feel like
relaxed.
this? Do you feel relaxed? Right? So if you are sitting like this in this chair, are you feeling constricted or are you feeling free? Will tell you if there is a problem or there is no problem. And similarly feelings. So I listed them more from a giving you an example kind of this. That what could be an example of a sensation, what could be an example of a feeling. Of course, sensation and feelings in your muscles, in your breath, in your gut, in your heart, in your head. Majorly that, but then depending upon the kind of problems or issues that you might have. So this is some examples of more what could be feelings or sensations. Do you feel alive? Do you feel loose in some parts? Do you feel hard? Do you feel icy? It's just a laundry list. There could be many more of the kind of sensations. Yeah? Yeah. Then I said resources, external, internal, and some movements. So one is the grounding movement, sitting down and putting your feet flat on the ground and sensing what is happening to your feet right now. What is happening to your thighs right now, maybe. You know, so grounding essentially that you are firmly
to be stable, static.
static. Yeah, very right. Very being static. So it need not be static. It can be while sitting. Whether you are comfortable in where you are sitting. Are you feeling held? Do you feel you might fall down or whatever? So then boundaries through the hands that which I showed you. Leg movements also and joints. So leg movements also, especially the ankles are very, if you are able to move the ankles, then the ankles are very easy to do. And so listening to your body means a no is a no. If the body is repeatedly telling you no, then you don't do it. One of the things, if you can't, so for example, if you can't refuse somebody, you can say, can I take a 10-minute break, or can I sit for 10 minutes and then tell you. But listening to a no is very important. And in fact, there's a video, there's also a book which is titled When Your Body Says No. And see that video, you will get a lot of more insights in terms of what all your body tells you. And he has of course done an extensive research on cancer patients, and he's more using those examples rather than the general.
What is the author name?
I'll just tell you. Balanced release of emotions. So when you are angry, don't ignore the anger. Don't put it down. Don't shut it down. Of course, don't go shouting and screaming. That will also aggravate the body. But if you are able to identify what triggers you and release that emotion, you will also be able to deal with the emotions in a more positive way. Balancing, so there are two needs we have. One need is need for attachment, which is I want to be liked, I want to be cared for, I want to be liked, I want to be. And there is a need for authenticity. I want to be the way I want to be, what makes me comfortable. Finding a balance between the two. Most of the time, for the sake of attachment, we let the authenticity go. A lot of people do that. When you don't want to go somewhere, but you go because it's important. We try to please others. So we try to please others. We try to make at the cost of what is important for us. So that is finding a balance, and of course keeping your that author who says when your body says no is Weber mate. He is amazing. I mean, if you hear some of his videos are very, very amazing and interesting.
Sister, how to relate the emotion when?
So the example which I gave, which I again repeat, that when you are feeling angry, for example, okay, and if you just sit and see what is happening to your body when that anger is coming up, you will get the real reason for that anger. Okay, so sometimes you may get you are shouting at somebody because the room is very badly scattered and you are a person who likes everything to be neat, and that is you're shouting. Maybe you are not angry for that. There is something else that has triggered that. So if you sit down and just experience that, okay, I am feeling angry. So what is it doing to my body? There will be places in your body which will give you a different sensation. Maybe it is hot. Some place, maybe the heart is hot, or maybe here it is hot, or maybe here it is hot. We don't know. And then you look at a resource and do a coming back, going forward, you will start feeling light and easy, and that emotion will go away. It may not go away, then it will give you an indication about what it wants you to do. Whether it wants you to talk, whether it wants you to walk away, whether it wants you to, what is it that it wants? It might show you images of memories, memory where places things were scattered and you fell down and got hurt, or something very bad happened. That memory will tell you why you are getting so angry for something which may be so. Or it might tell you that this is what makes you very angry, and you make it clear to everybody else that with this I will not tolerate. That is also a possibility of managing. Does that? Yeah. Easier said, of course. Needs a lot of practice. Needs to be constantly.
No self-control.
But is there any structured exercise how to do it? I mean, written you have that?
Okay, I can put it together and I can share that.
Yeah.
I can share that. So I'll put these steps together. So these are some of the small things. Connect to your body sensation. As much as, especially if you are overwhelmed, if you are very angry, you are very sad, you are very upset, you feel very humiliated, you feel very lonely. Those are the indication that your body wants you to sit down and pay attention. So sit down at that time and actually look at what is happening to your body. Then look for resources around you. And then, so you do the movements, go between what feels good and what does not feel good. This presentation will, I think, be available, right? And it will connect, you connect to that resource flow. Remind that you have survived. If there's a saying, right? Jaan hai to jahan hai. So if you are alive, you can take care of whatever is happening. So reminding yourself that you are alive and pay attention to, especially in difficult situations. So I agree, 24 hours you can't be paying attention to your body, but can you pay attention to your body during these difficult moments when the body is telling you something? So of course there are a lot of benefits that I have seen. This is again I've seen people's self-esteem growing. I've seen issues getting resolved. I have seen good relationships happening. Really feeling life force, feeling energetic. I have seen people being able to concentrate. So these are some of the experiences of people who have connected to their body, who are increasing their capacity to connect to their body and being able to hear from their body. And they have more active and engaged in taking it. So thank you.
Peter Levin.
Peter, it is based on, so today's presentation was based on Peter Levin. Peter Levin's work, Marion Woodman's work, and Gabriel Bates' work. In fact, Peter Levin's work is what I do, what I am trained in, and what I help people with. And yeah, befriend your body, be prepared to meet yourself through another.
Very appropriate title you have given to it.
Thank you.
The body.
Body talk. So listen to your body. Thank you very much.
Thank you.